Hi everyone, it's Angie here at Beads and Plenty More. Today I thought I'd show you brick stitch earrings, basic pattern here. So I've got a pair done up here with the cream colored beads and so on. And then I've got first earring done of the pair that I was going to work on with you. So I've got 6-pound fire line here, and what I've done is I've cut 1.5 meters. I will provide a supply list at the end of this video, so if you're trying to follow along you can grab the supply list there. And I've got 2 beading needles here, and I've threaded a beading needle onto each end. So we're going to start with this middle row right here. And what I've done is I've lined up my 8 bugle beads because I wanted to make sure that they were all similar in size. And I also wanted to watch to make sure there wasn't a cutty corner or something on one of them, a sharp corner. So I'm going to thread one down to the middle, and then the next one I'm going to take and thread 1 needle each way through it. So what we're creating is we're creating a little ladder to build off of. So when I pull this tight, you should see the 2 line up there. So I'm going to add the next bead on. So I'll get all 8 of these on, and then we'll move on to the next step here. Okay, so I've got my 8 beads across here, and I've got one needle going up and 1 needle going down. So the needle going up is going to build our brick stitch top on it, and the needle coming down is going to build our little swags at the bottom. So let's start with the needle going up. It doesn't really matter which one you start with, you can just do one or the other first. But let's build our brick stitch ones first. So I'm going to grab a seed bead. I'm going to grab color A, which is my white. And there's a thread running between my 2 last bugles here. I want to come under that thread and then back up through that seed bead. Make sure the seed bead is sitting the right direction and so on. And then so right back up the top of it. There we go, now it's sitting tight. You will end up with a little piece of thread showing right here. So you may want to match your thread color to your beads a little bit. Fireline comes in both a light and a crystal color and a dark color. All right, so I've moved on. I've added 1 more bead here, and I'm coming in under the thread that's between the next 2 bugle beads. And again, I'm going to come back up to lock that stitch in place. And now I'm just going to follow my pattern along. I am going to post onto this tutorial. I'll post it directly into the video, and I will also give you the PDF if you want to download it with the pattern and so on, simply because it's easier to follow than trying to follow along with me here. So I'm stitching across the whole row here, just following my pattern for colors. And I didn't quite get my bugle beads as organized. I see I've got one that's a little bit shorter there, so it's going to show a little bit. Bugle beads are really bad for having sharp edges and stuff, so you do want to take the time to sort through them a little bit. All right, we're coming. 1 more. We'll get to the end of the row here. Last one. So each time I'm just finding the thread that's in between, and then back up the bead. And you'll know if the bead pops off that you've stitched back under the thread again by mistake. I've had that happen a few times. All right, so to do our row in, I'm just going to take my bead, and now I'm looking for the thread that's between my 2 last beads here. And I'm just going to come under it and then back up. So I'm going to jump ahead here, and I will finish up to the point where I'm ready to put the shepherd hook, or the lever back in this case, onto my earring, and we'll talk about how to do that. Okay, so I built my little brick stitch triangle up here, and I'm going to add one more row that has 2 beads on it. I'm up to 2 beads right now. So I'm just going to, in this case, I'm just going to put the 2 beads on and come down the bead beside it. And then I'll just come back up this one to and then I'm going to add 2 seed beads, my little lever back earring hook, and 2 more seed beads. And then just come down the other side here. So there's my hook on. I always like to go back through it one more time, so I'm going to come back up through everything again. And then there's 2 thoughts on how you can end this off. You can either tie some slip knots and just weave your tail end off, or with brick stitch, it's usually solid enough that you can just weave back through some of your work, changing directions a few times. And by doing that, you actually get your thread woven in enough that you don't actually have to tie any knots. So in this case, I'll just pick a bead going the other way and turn around. All right, so I'm going to keep going on weaving this off, and if you have a bead that's sitting kind of funny, this is one way you can take the time to go back and maybe straighten it out a little bit by weaving through it with a little more thread. So I will catch you back on the other side to show you how to do the bottom. So here on the bottom, I've switched to the other needle, the needle we had coming down off of our original ladder stitched row of bugle beads. And what I've done is I've threaded all the beads for the outside swag. So I'm going to come around and up through the outside bugle, and then back down the next one. And I'm going to put the next row in. Remember, I've got a pattern sheet for you, so you can download that and follow along to get the correct numbers and everything. And you can certainly make this swag a lot longer if you want, or you can actually do it open bottom too. You don't actually have to make it a swag. You can come down, end it with a bead, and then come back up to create a straighter type of finish on the bottom. So I will finish this off, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it inspires you to do something. Have a good day.